K13 Nissan Micra here in facelifted guise. It's a car that should be for every man or woman, but it manages not to be. Allow me to explain in this really low rent and low budget video. I won't spend too long discussing the outside because there isn't really much to say. It's about as dull as cars come aesthetically. At least it's in a somewhat vibrant colour, but most of them come in like silver or black and are about as nondescript as a pylon. But it's a very practical car, I'll give it that much, as we will now see when we step inside. One thing you certainly can't argue with this Nissan Micra is the level of equipment that they give you as standard. You're really left wanting for nothing. The stereo has CD, AM, FM tuner, but it also has Bluetooth connectivity for your phone for answering phone calls and also streaming audio. The steering wheel has multifunction controls for the stereo and then for the cruise control. There's dual zone climate control. It's got automatic wipers, it's got automatic lights. There are cup holders in both the doors. There are 2 cup holders in the center console. There are 2 glove boxes for some reason. There's the normal one, and then there's one on top, which I don't really know what's for, because you could maybe fit a wedge of cheese in there. There's 1 cup holder in the back, which could probably cause complaints if you have 2 or more children back there, although you really couldn't fit any more than 2. I do have one complaint though. So say you're going through the drive-through restaurant to get your delightful meal of fast food, and you're like, oh, I'm coming up to the window to pay for my order. Down goes the window automatically. And then say it's a cold rainy day, into drive, and off you want to go. Why would you have automatic down on a window and then not automatic up? They clearly know how to do this technology thing pretty well, and the function is there for it to go down. Why not have automatic up? Why? Why? I hope you can hear me over the road noise. You take this car out of its natural habitat of urban city driving and it gets kind of loud in here. This car's wearing pretty decent, pretty new Dunlop tyres, but the tyre roar in here is outrageous. And when other traffic goes by, it sounds like they're in the car with you. It's not particularly well insulated. Saying that, the driving experience isn't terrible. You can just set the traction control to the speed limit of 100 kilometers an hour and just let it do its thing. It's pretty comfortable, and the M50s are pretty bumpy motorway, especially by European standards, and it's absorbing the bumps pretty well. If you needed to do motorway runs daily to go to work or whatever, it's fine. Just make sure you have the stereo on, or at least buy some earplugs, because my god, it's unrefined. So it is an urban city car, and it does that type of driving pretty well. The steering is light, the brakes are gradual and responsive, and if you want, you could just set the cruise control to 50 kilometers an hour, drive the car one-handed, put your arm on your captain's chair armrest, and you could go full couch potato and just drive the car with your brain switched off like this. Fine. But what happens if you're a car enthusiast like myself, or probably the 3 or 4 people who are watching this video? What if you wanted to have a little bit of a spin around the back roads? Well, obviously the first thing you'll notice is it's not a particularly quick car, but what do you expect? It's only got 3 cylinders and about 60 horsepower. In its defense as well, it does actually have a surprising amount of grip, to a point. If you push on too hard, it will go into safety understeer. I say safety, but if you go over a white line, you're going to get into a pretty serious head-on collision. Again, that road noise becomes one of the most dominating factors. But a driver's car, it is not. I can't feel anything that's going on underneath me. I assume the steering wheel is connected to the wheels because the car does move, but as you can see, body roll is ever present. But hey, no one's going to buy a car like this and expect it to be a driver's vehicle. I can't really expect it to be the be-all and end-all of driving dynamics. The worst thing about this car, though, by a long shot, is the gearbox. It is a CVT automatic transmission. What CVT stands for is continuously variable transmission. And where that differs to, say, a normal torque converter automatic or a dual clutch system, or even just a normal do-it-yourself manual, rather than having a stepped bunch of gears, it essentially is one gear. And the continuously variable part is it will stick at a constant engine speed and the car will accelerate at that RPM. Now, initially, it selects drive with no drama, and when you want to pull away, it will creep quite convincingly, like myself. Fine. When you touch the accelerator at all, it's a bit jerky. But if you're just pottering around town, which is the natural environment for this car, I will admit it does the job pretty well. We're tipping along here now at 50 kilometers an hour, which is the general speed limit for urban environments, and the car is barely ticking over. We're doing just a little over 1,000 RPM, so you could poodle around town just sipping on fuel, drama free. But what I'd say you need to overtake, say, a slow moving vehicle or a dead animal in the road, you will indicate, and you want to make the maneuver quickly. You put your foot down and no thanks. So to go back to my original sentiment, that this car should be for every man and woman, but manages not to be. Like, sure, it does the job very well of driving from A to B, it has all the creature comforts you could possibly want, but one thing it lacks is soul and character. It's just so dull. It's not fun to drive. It feels cheap to the touch. Yes, it'll be reliable, and yes, it's relatively affordable to own and drive, and don't get me wrong, it'll be dependable as they come, but you'll never form a bond with it. And if you're going to own something as a daily driver and spend many hours behind the wheel, you should form a bond with it. And I couldn't see someone ever forming a bond with this car, which is a shame, because Nissan have a history of making interesting cars. Look at the Skylines and GTRs and the Z cars, and even previous generations of the Micra. But they seem to have just put that all behind them and decided to just churn out these eco box white goods. So if you are in the market for a small little cheap city runabout, look at other options, because for me anyway, this is not the one to go for. If you'd like to see some more of these low rent car videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Reincarnation. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, and there'll be more content coming along soon.